Friends, we are starting now. Today is the 247th Friday group meeting. The topic is forensic opinion in BNSS and B.S.A, new criminal laws, whatever the recent speaker is our beloved topmost senior advocate of this country and criminal side particularly, Mr. Justice Nagamuthu sir. He is going to address. Before that, sir, till date you have addressed our Friday group 18 times. Contribution in YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, Friday group YouTube channel, 2 lakhs viewers. And BNS special criminal laws, which are new amendment and other new criminal law and all, 70,000, sir. We are really grateful to you, sir. So again, we request you to kindly amend.
Honorable Justice Karpogunayagumai Mantar, my dear friend Mr. G.Seshagiri ji, all our friends gathered here to hear my lecture. Very good afternoon to all of you. Though I have given many lectures, as it was pointed out, on 17 occasions, today's my lecture will be a slightly different one from the earlier one. The reason being that I am going to make an attempt today to tell you about some subjects which are all foreign to us almost. We were never taught in the law college. We were never taught by anybody else outside also before we became lawyers. After entering into this profession, after knowing the importance of this forensic evidence in courts, slowly we start to learn this subject. Now the importance of this subject should be realized by us, and this subject, though not taught in the law college, should be learnt by us. Then only we can do justice to the clients. Therefore, this topic has been chosen by our friend Mr. G.Seshagiri sir, and he has requested me to give lecture on this. Now the topic is forensic evidence. What are the subjects which are covered under this topic? We have forensic medicine, which deals with the human body and the forensic aspects of the disease, cause of death, injuries, etc. Then we have fingerprint examination, that is also a forensic science, fingerprint examination, handwriting examination and opinion, DNA opinion, age determination, then time determination, ballistic, and the list is endless. Within 45 minutes assigned to me today, I don't think that we can cover all the subjects. Therefore, today as an introductory, I think that I can cover 2 subjects mainly. One is forensic medicine, the other one is fingerprint opinion. Within 45 minutes, I think that I can cover these 2 only. The other subjects, more particularly DNA, is a very, very important subject. Many a times we are confronted in courts, and when there is any DNA opinion, the court, without even examining the correctness of the opinion, accept the same, act upon the same, and decide the cases accordingly. Therefore, we should know as to when we got to request the court not to rely on this particular piece of forensic evidence, more particular DNA, like that. Now let me take the forensic medicine first. Forensic medicine, as I told you, is a subject dealing with forensic aspects of the human body. As lawyers, we should know something about the human anatomy and the functioning of at least some of the important systems in the human body. To put it very shortly, I will say we should know at least the skeletal system of the body and what are the internal organs in the body. We will have a quick understanding of those things. See, if you take skull, head, the skull is not made of one bone, we all know that. We should know as lawyers, we should know whenever there is an injury mentioned by a doctor, that fracture of the right parietal bone, we should know where it is first. So what are the, therefore I will say as to what are the bones in the skull first. So this bone on the right hand side is right parietal bone, left parietal bone. This is on the back side occipital bone, temporal bone, then nasal bone. These are all the bones which make the structure of the skull, correct? So depending upon the assault made on the head, corresponding injury will be there on the skull also. If the injury is so deep, if the assault is so forceful, there will be injury to the skull also. Inside the skull, what is there? We all know it is brain. In between brain and the skull we call it as cranium to put together. In between these two, we have a covering of the brain. The brain is covered so tightly by a membrane. That is called a dura mater. So if any assault is made on the head, the external skin-like material is known as scalp. We call the injury caused on the scalp as scalpel injury. If the assault is not with force, the injury will be only pertain to the scalp. It won't go deep into the skull. If the injury is caused with some more force, if the assault is made with force, then the force will break the bone. So we call it as fracture of a particular bone. This is corresponding to the external injury on the scalp. Then if you go deep, if the assault is still powerful, then what will happen is, then there will be injury to brain itself. The pressure will go into the brain and the brain will tear. There will be injury. We call it as injury to brain and all that. So as a result, there will be effusion of blood both outside from the scalp and inside the skull because of the injury to brain. So if the injury to brain is so bigger one in size, then the effusion of blood inside the skull will also be more. What will happen? It is simple mechanism. The blood so collected, the blood will be going on oozing out and it will get collected inside the skull. Therefore, it cannot come out. So what will happen ultimately? It will pressure, it will bring so much of pressure on the brain because of the blood collection there. It will bring pressure on the brain. Then the brain will become functionless to some extent. The man may go to coma. What the doctors in such a situation do is, they will immediately make a hole on the corresponding place and suck the blood out to relieve the brain from the pressure. That is why they save the patient. If this is not done, on one side oozing of the blood is going on, and as a result the pressure is mounting upon the brain becomes functionless, man goes to coma, and after some time man will die. Therefore immediate treatment is required to free the brain from this. This is regarding skull structure. Then we got the lower jaw, we call it as mandible, then teeth, tongue. These are all, I need not say all these things. Then if you go down, let us come to the chest and the abdomen. There are two parts here. We call it a trunk. In the trunk there are two parts. One is this area, what we call as chest, is known as thoracic cavity. Inside, what is available, what is there is thoracic cavity. This is covered by the, on the back we have the spine. The spinal cord is inside. The bone is there, the structure is there, and from that we have got the ribs. The ribs are here connected with a bone known as a sternum. This sternum can be easily cut. It is not with some strength. You can feel it. After this, you will find the sternum. So this coverage is to protect our heart and the lungs. In this, the cavity that is inside the chest, that is inside the ribs, what is there is, there are two main organs inside this thoracic cavity. One is heart, the other one is the lungs, two lungs on both sides. This is protected by this coverage. Now, here abdomen is on the lower part. The abdomen and the thoracic cavity are divided by a membrane. That membrane we call it as diaphragm. The diaphragm separates the abdomen from the thoracic cavity. We call it as abdominal cavity. Here this is thoracic cavity. Thoracic cavity is a highly sensitized and protected one. More than this, here except air and blood, nothing else could enter into the thoracic cavity because these two organs deal with that. On the abdominal side, we have got all the other organs. See, we have got liver, we have got small intestine, we have got large intestine, we have got spleen, all these organs, and kidneys, then urinary bladder, all these things. For ladies, the ovary, all these things are only in the abdominal area, correct? This structure also you should know. Now, so far as bones are concerned, if you go down, this I have said rib. If you go down, you will have the thigh, both the thighs. The thighs, there is only one single bone. That bone is known as femur. And then you go down, you have got that cap. Below that there are two bones. One is fibula and the other one is tibia and fibula. These two bones, then fingers, etc. All the details are not necessary. Now, what are the three major systems which are functioning in the human body? Let us have an idea about that. Always we are reading law, let us know something about the medical science also. What are the three systems? The first and foremost system is the nervous system. The head of the nervous system is the brain. The main nerve is the spine. From the spine, nerves or branches, they branch off. They are very close to the bones because any nerve injury may be fatal. Therefore, it has been so placed deep into the muscles and beyond the muscle and in between the bone. All the nerves are there. Then above that we have got the muscles, and into the muscles we have got arteries. Arteries also are not located on the superficial side of the body. They are also kept very deep into the body because heart is always pumping, blood is always going like a tide. If any injury is so easily, if injury is caused, then blood will ooze out, man will die. Therefore, to protect that, the arteries are kept deep into the muscle. What we see here outside, this is only vein. This is not artery. Why vein is here not deep? Because it only sucks the blood, carries it to the heart. It won't allow the blood so much to ooze out. Probably that is the reason why the nature has kept it outside. So now let us come back to the nervous system. Brain, spine, all the nerves. So brain gives the command to all the organs of the body to work. Right? Now if this system fails, if brain fails, man goes to coma and the coma leads to ultimately failure of other functions and ultimately man dies. This is death due to coma. The next system, important system, is the circulatory system. The head of the circulatory system is the heart. Heart functions in two ways. One, it receives the blood which is carried by veins into it, which is full of carbon dioxide. Then it pushes the same, pumps the same out, sends it to lungs. It goes to the lungs. In the lungs, the carbon dioxide is released by the red corpuscles and oxygen is taken from there. Then heart receives that blood into it. That is the blood, purified blood. We can call it a purified blood for our understanding. It is there is no impure blood at all. Human body, every blood is pure only. Now, oxygenated blood, let us say like that. It is drawn to the heart. Now it pumps it. When it pumps it, like through the aorta, it comes out. It goes to the entire body. It goes through the branches. Then ultimately it goes through the capillaries, goes to the cells. Correct? In the cells, what happens is the RBC releases oxygen. Already there is the food we eat and all there, carbohydrate and other things are there. And there it is burnt, oxygen is burnt. Carbon dioxide is produced. Carbon dioxide is again taken. It is taken to the heart now through the vein. That is why it functions. Body maintains a temperature. The reason is because every cell burns oxygen and in that burning heat is produced. That is the reason why human body has got heat always. So this is the second major system in the human body which maintains the body's equilibrium. The blood circulation goes carrying everything. Not only blood, plasma is also there. All these things are carried. Whatever we eat, energy, etc., they are all carried and they are supplied to the cells and all that. That is how the cells are alive. This is the second system. The third system is respiratory system. Respiratory system, it involves the head of that is the lungs. Through nose, air is inhaled. It goes to the lungs. In the lungs, the air goes. From the air, the RBCs separate only the oxygen. You just see the mechanism. It separates the oxygen, takes the oxygen, releases the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide mixes with the remaining air and we exhale it. This is the third system. If any one of these systems fail, it will, unless treated, man will go to death only. Now you could have seen very recently a girl dancing in Madhya Pradesh. You could have seen it went viral. Yes. She died on the spot.
On the spot, yes.
How did it happen? It is because of the failure of the heart. That is failure of the circulatory system. The other systems were properly functioning. She was dancing, which means her brain was very active. She was able to dance. She was breathing. The next system was all right. What failed her? It was the heart. Heart suddenly stopped. You could have seen the interview of some doctors. They give the reason. And the failure of the heart for her so suddenly was because of the stoppage of production of electricity. There is one electric stimuli that is continuously being produced in the heart that only makes the heart to be active. So that is how it happens. So these are all the systems you should understand. Now let us come to our subject. What is the importance of this medical, that is forensic medicine in our cases? It is not only relevant for civil cases, criminal cases, it is also relevant for civil cases in some certain circumstances. I will tell you later. Now, as and when a person goes to the doctor for the first time, either because of some injury or because of some other complaint, etc., the doctor, if he finds that it is a medico-legal case, he has to, at the first point of time, he has to make a record of that. In some states we call it as accident register. In other states they call it as first medical report. So it contains three parts. Number one, the doctor records the history as it is stated either by the patient or by the attendant. History of the patient. For example, 3 people attacked him with a knife on so and so place at about 5 p.m. today. This is the history. The doctor simply records the history as it is spoken by someone else. This is the first part of the record. Second part of that record are his findings. He finds one injury here, a cut injury, one stab injury, fracture, skull, blood oozing. These are all his findings. Findings means he is an eyewitness to these injuries. He finds with his own eyes, he sees them and records them. This is the second part. Third part is very important, that is his opinion part. The third part falls under old section 45 and the new section 39 of the this B.S.A. Now it is only under this provision the evidence of the doctor or the certificate issued by him becomes relevant and it is admissible in evidence. Now when a doctor is giving evidence, when the doctor gives evidence, so far as the first part is concerned, his evidence is only hearsay. Whatever he said, he has written. Whatever was said by the attender, he has written. 3 people attacked, 4 people attacked, etc. Therefore, that first part of the history that he has recorded is hit by the hearsay rule, and therefore that cannot be given any weightage at all. That cannot be looked into by the court at all. But many a times, this important legal position is lost sight of, and some courts also look into that and they record that at the earliest point of time this has been said. At the earliest point of time, who has said? Suppose the deceased has made this statement. The deceased has made the statement. Then that statement may amount to a dying declaration such a way it is admissible. If it is made by a person who is now alive, the injured person, this is nothing but his former statement. It can be used only to corroborate or contradict. That is all. It is not substantive piece so far as the first part is concerned. Coming to the second part, that is the finding part. That is admissible because he is an eyewitness. He has recorded all the injuries. To that extent, there can be no dispute. It is admissible. Third part is the opinion part. First of all, he must be an expert in the field. If you look at the old section 45 and also the present section 39 of the B.S.A, it does not say that the opinion should be given by a doctor who has got forensic knowledge or a forensic doctor, etc. It is not stated. The provision says that he must have, when the court has to form an opinion upon a point of foreign law or of science or art as to identity of the handwriting, finger impressions, the opinions upon that point of person specially skilled. It should be the person who gives opinion must be specially skilled. He need not be a government doctor. If he is a doctor, he is specially skilled in forensic medicine. It is enough that he is an expert, he is a skilled person in that field. He can give evidence. His opinion is admissible under section 45. So he speaks about these injuries at the earliest point of time as to what he had seen in the body. Now, subsequently, the person is admitted in the hospital. The injured person is admitted in the hospital. Then dying declaration used to be recorded. Magistrate comes to record a dying declaration. At that time, the mental capacity or the status of the person should be assessed by the magistrate by putting certain questions to the injured he tries to satisfy himself as to whether he is fit enough to make a dying declaration. That assessment he has to make. For that, if the doctor is available, doctor's opinion is also taken by him. The doctor, after assessing his pulse, his other parameters in the body, his consciousness, etc., etc., he gives an opinion, yes, he is fit to make a statement. He is conscious, not only conscious, he is fit to make a statement. Thereafter, the magistrate satisfies himself about his mental fitness, then he starts recording the statement of the deceased. It may be a dying declaration later if the person dies. Correct? Here also, there is a forensic opinion given by the doctor. He speaks about the mental fitness of that person concerned. Now, this is also relevant under section 45. Then the person undergoes treatment. During the period of treatment, he suffers some other complications. Those complications, what are the effects of those complications, can also be stated by the doctor. That is also his opinion. So, for example, if septicemia has set in, septicemia means due to the formation of pus in the blood. If septicemia has set in, he can give opinion on that also. Yes, what from the examination of the patient, I found that he was affected by septicemia, which may result in death later. So this here also the forensic opinion becomes very, very important. Then ultimately, let us assume that unfortunately the man dies. He is taken for postmortem. Now in the postmortem, what are all the things which ought to be taken note of by the doctor and by lawyers when we do the cases? In the postmortem, the doctor not only gives his final opinion regarding the cause of death, he also gives opinion in respect of the reasons for this cause of death. If there are injuries on the body, there are multiple number of injuries, all aberrations, all small aberrations. There is only one injury which is on the neck, which is fatal. The doctor, if the doctor says that the death was due to the cumulative effect of all the injuries, we won't accept that opinion. The reason is that these are all small aberrations which can never cause the death at all. The fatal injury is on the neck. Here it is pierced into the neck and carotid artery is cut, blood oozes out, man dies. So there the opinion of the doctor must be very specific in respect of the cause of death. In a given case, there are only small injuries on the body. The man, despite that, man dies. After how many days? After 15 days. How did he die? Doctor gives opinion. Let us assume that a doctor gives opinion that death was due to these injuries. In my humble opinion, the opinion of the doctor should be rejected. We have to test that. Why? The death was not directly due to these injuries. It does not strike even our common sense. All small injuries. Any person who sustains these injuries, not every person who sustains these injuries will die. Some people may die and some may not die. Therefore, it is to be tested whether these injuries are the cause for the death. When there are injuries on the body, how do we assess as lawyers as to whether death was caused by these injuries or not? When human body sustains injuries, then what results is effusion of blood goes out, profuse bleeding. When 1/3 of the blood is oozed out, it goes out, then the man will die of shock because there won't be sufficient blood going to the heart, and as a result the heart would not be in a position to pump enough blood to the lungs, and as a result sufficient blood may not carry there will not be sufficient blood to carry oxygen to the cells, and as a result, man will struggle, there will be breathing trouble, man will die. It is because of what? We call it as shock. This shock is caused by hemorrhage. Hemorrhage means profuse bleeding. Loss of more than 1/3 quantity of the total volume of the blood. In such an event, the man will die of hemorrhagic shock. Right. Here in the illustration which I gave, there were only minor injuries. There was no oozing of blood at all. Therefore, absolutely there is no chance for shock due to hemorrhage. This we can certainly tell the doctor that his opinion is wrong, because obviously there was no loss of blood. Then what is the cause for that? What are the other causes? See, there is another shock known as vasovagal shock. Colloquially we call it vagal shock. It means in our human body, in certain areas, the nerve is so close to the close to the skin, we can say, to the muscle. Normally the nerve is there just near the deep into the muscles and near the bone. I already told you. In certain areas like this armpit, correct? Here near the sternum here, in certain other areas, and including for males testes. When a kick is given and the blow falls on these areas, any one of these areas, the man will suffer an immediate shock. He will get relieved of the shock within few seconds. We all would have experienced that during our younger days when we were playing. Like this, it will happen. Then it will get released. If the shock continues for few more minutes or for about 1 minute or more, then the man will die of that shock. All organs will stop functioning. Man will die. This shock is known as vagal shock. In many of the cases, we will see that when a kick is given, man will fall down and die of that shock. This is very important for a lawyer to know, because if there is a case of murder against the person who kicked him on this armpit or testes, etc., then we can be sure that it is not a murder. It won't fall within the ambit of section 299 at all. When I spoke to you on section 299 and 300 IPC, I will elaborately said about this. So whenever a person dies of these kinds of vagal shock which is unexpected, then it is not murder, it is not even culpable homicide. The person will be convicted only for kicking, that is for 323 IPC, at the most 325 IPC, that is all, under the world. So this is another shock. Like this, there are so many causes which result in death. Mostly we deal with these injuries. Shock due to hemorrhage, shock due to, that is vagal shock. These two for the present we can know, because there are other matters which if I go into that it will take some more time. So with this I want to finish. Now this is regarding cause of death. Doctor has to say. Regarding time of death, how to assess the time of death? Some witnesses come and say that I saw this person alive in the company of so and so at so and so time. For example, I give you the case which I did. By about 7 o'clock in the evening, husband and wife were found together near a bus stand. That is the evidence of 2-3 witnesses. It was a case based on circumstantial evidence. So, according to the case, the deceased was last seen in the company of the husband. The next day morning by about 7 o'clock, the dead body of the wife was found floating in a well near the bus stand. Now the police prosecuted him for murder based on the circumstantial evidence. The evidence was to this effect only. The man was found in the company of the deceased. Now, the doctor's opinion becomes very important here. The witnesses say that morning by 7 o'clock, the body was found floating in the well. Thereafter the body is lifted out of the well, it is sent for post-mortem. The doctor found the brain was liquefied. Liquefied means it has become almost a liquid. It has lost its solid state. It has come to liquid state. Now from this, it is doubtful whether the woman would have been alive by 7 o'clock in the company of the husband. This is the issue. Now, your whole case, your defense is going to depend upon the acceptability or otherwise of the medical evidence. The doctor's evidence is, yes, the woman died of drowning. No dispute over that. Cause of death is drowning. Case is that the husband pushed her into the well, or he killed her outside, then pushed the body into the water. This is the case. It would have happened after what time? 7 o'clock in the evening. Next day morning, body is found floating. If you look at the forensic science, it will say that this woman would not have died on the previous day by 7 p.m. The assessment of time of death is to be made by the doctor who gives opinion. How does he give the opinion? The opinion is based on the condition of the body. Now, when the death occurs, all systems stop functioning. I said 3 major systems: respiratory fails, the circulatory fails, nervous fails, all the 3 fails. Man has become motionless. We call it as death. The term death has not been defined in IPC or even in the new code. The term death is not defined. But for that, Births and Deaths Act, in that it is defined as to what is a death. Death means cessation of all functions of the human body. Cessation, complete stoppage. Blood circulation stopped, respiration stopped, brain function stopped, then movement stopped, everything, no function. This is the indication of death. This death in the field of forensic science, forensic medicine, is known as somatic death. Somatic death. Somatic death means stoppage of all functions of the human body. Then after that, what happens? The cells now are still alive because already there is some oxygen supplied to them, and with that they are burning and they are alive. The cells will start dying when once there is no supply of oxygen to the cells. It takes normally 3 to 4 hours for the cells to die. Until then, cells are alive. Man is dead. This death is known as somatic death. After somatic death, after the death of cells, death occurs. Complete stoppage of death of cells occurs. That death is known as cellular death. Somatic death, then cellular death. So normally it takes 2 to 3 hours. During this period of 2 to 3 hours, the body will be volatile. If you lift the hand, it will go like this, it will go like this. So it will be normal. Because cells are alive still. You may, in our experience, we would have heard that suppose in an accident, when the finger, in an industrial accident, the finger is cut, it is amputated. The doctors will say, bring it within 3 hours, immediately. See, if it is taken there, they will put it there, restore the circulation, they will keep the cell to be alive, continue to be alive. Which means for 3 hours, cellular death doesn't occur. Slowly it will start occurring. It will get completed 3 to 4 hours thereafter, after the somatic death. Correct? After the somatic death. That's the reason why doctors want us to come rush to the hospital immediately within 2 hours. That is the golden time. We have to come there to carrying that amputated finger, etc. So until the cellular death gets completed, the body will be volatile. You can move the hands, leg, everything. Means somebody, not the deceased person. After that starts the decomposition process. First decomposition process is discoloration of skin. So if there is discoloration of skin on the body, when the doctor has found discoloration, which means minimum 3 to 4 hours has crossed already after the death. Discoloration of skin. Why this discoloration happens? Because in the veins, the blood collected, it remains there, and it starts slowly releasing the whatever is there, air, oxygen, etc. And similarly, the other muscles start decomposing. That is the reason why there is a discoloration of skin. This is the first symptom that happens. Now, thereafter, post-mortem rigidity. Rigidity happens. This will remain for 48 hours. In normal temperature, I am saying, normal temperature, it will remain for 48 hours. If the rigor mortis, that is the rigidity, is still there in the body, one can be sure that death would have occurred within 48 hours from the time of postmortem. From this also, the time of death is assessed by the doctor. That is, by seeing, by assessing the postmortem rigidity, we call it as a rigor mortis. Rigor mortis, normally, if I am correct, it starts from head, it goes down slowly, it develops and goes up to the leg. Similarly, it gets released from leg to head. I am not sure whether it is reverse or this thing, I have forgotten that. Whatever be the case. This process takes 48 hours minimum. In normal atmospheric conditions, it takes 48 hours. Suppose the body is kept in water, then the rigor mortis or the decomposition process will get prolonged. Body will be preserved. So why we keep the dead body in a freezer? When the dead body is kept in the freezer, it doesn't get decomposed for a long time. To preserve the body, we keep the body in freezer. So therefore I would say that when the body is in water, then it will take longer time for it to get decomposed. This is yet another symptom from which the time of death is assessed. After the passing of the rigor mortis, the actual decomposition starts. The first decomposition will be the soft tissues in the human body. The softest tissue is the brain tissue. It is very, very soft in the human body. Very, very strong or very tough body in is the uterus. And I am told it is also the spleen. These are all the things which are very strong enough. So the soft tissues like brain, it gets decomposed, liquefaction. From the condition of the brain, the time of death can also be assessed very easily, whether it is 48 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours, 74 hours, it can also be assessed from out of the liquefaction or the condition of the brain. Then what happens? The body slowly starts bloating because of the decomposition. Air gets released, or it pushes the epidermis above. As a result, what happens? There are bubbles formed in the body. We call it as vesicle. There are vesicles formed. So what is the time for which it will continue under the hot sun or in the normal temperature? That is also assessed in the forensic science. We can find if vesicles are found or found in the body, what would have been the probable time of death of the body can be found out. After these vesicles, what happened? They collapse. The vesicles collapse and the body skin is peeled off. It becomes white in color. Completely the skin is peeled off, and that is we call it as epidermis is removed, and it gets peeled off and body becomes white in color. Okay. From this condition, if vesicles are there, we can assess the time. If vesicles have disappeared, they have collapsed and the body has become white because of peeling of the vesicles, then from out of that we can make one more assessment of the time of death. So from the condition of the body, there are so many other things. From the condition of the body, the time of death can be more or less assessed. This is another way of examining, giving opinion by the doctor about the time of death. In most of the cases, we do not dispute the time of death. We do not challenge the doctor. So doctor should be challenged by getting support from the medical authorities, and we should establish our case which is genuine. So this is regarding the time of death. Then what are the other opinions that are given by the doctors? See, age of the deceased. Age of the deceased is normally given by physical examination from the available teeth and by general impression on seeing the body. The age of the deceased is mentioned in the postmortem certificate. That is not virtually opinion, so no weightage should be given. Age determination becomes important so far as the victims are concerned, like victims of rape or juvenile offenders. So far as they are concerned, the time of death, their age determination becomes important. Age determination in respect of adults is easier because at the age of 18, all the bones become fused, fusion of blood, we call it as fusion of blood. That process is complete at the age of 18. What the doctors do is that they take X-ray and see the fusion of blood of the bones. If there is complete fusion of the bones, then they say that he is more than 18 years. If there is incomplete fusion, they say that it is less than 18 years. Then depending upon the amount of fusion that has happened in the bones, the doctors give opinion regarding the age of the person concerned, whether it is a victim or a juvenile offender. Now, the Honorable Supreme Court in any number of cases has held that the age fixed by the doctor is purely approximate, it is not certain. Therefore, we have to give allowance of 2 years on either side. Suppose the doctor says that his age was 18 years, we can give allowance by 2 years. We can say it may go up to 20 years. It may be even less than 16 years. But this law, which has been held by the Honorable Supreme Court for decades, is now slowly forgotten. Whenever the doctor says that he is 17 years old, 17 years old, doctor has given opinion, therefore we accept that. That trend has come. This is against the settled principle of criminal jurisprudence, where this court for decades was holding the field that 2 years margin, 2 years margin should be given to the opinion given by the doctor because it is not exact. It is purely approximate. I can give you only one judgment for that purpose. The recent judgment, Criminal Appeal number 572 of 2019 by Honorable Justice Vikram, a brilliant judgment. Really it is to be appreciated, very brilliant judgment, where the old law is repeated, the old position is repeated. They have held that 2 years margin is to be given. So the opinion regarding the age of the victim or that of the juvenile offender should be given 2 years margin on either side. Now, because we are following the principle that benefit or doubt is to be given to the accused, so we have to fix the age by giving allowance which is to the benefit of the accused. Suppose the doctor says that she was 17 years old. We have to give margin of 2 years, then that will take the age to 19, so the age should be fixed as 19. If there are other documents like school certificate, birth certificate, etc., they are exact because as soon as the child is born, the doctor makes a record. It is a first-hand information that goes to the government department and their entry is made about the date of birth. See, in that we cannot have any much dispute. In the absence of such a certificate, school certificate, absence of birth certificate or any other contemporaneous record like horoscope, etc., we have to depend upon the evidence of the doctors and whose opinion is important for us to assess the time, the age. While acting on the opinion of the doctor, we have to give 2 years margin. If the doctor says 16 years, we have to add 2 years, and we will say that no, she may be 18 years and therefore she is not a child. Likewise, if the doctor says, so far as the juvenile offender is concerned, that he is 18 years of age. Now the question is whether he has completed 18 years or not. We can give 2 years of allowance on the reverse. We can say he is 16 years, therefore he is to be treated as a juvenile, he is to be given the benefit. Correct? So this is the way in which the forensic medicine helps us to assess the age of either the victim or the offender at times. Then next thing, what are the other opinions that are given by the doctors? You take the case of the ballistic experts. Suppose a person is shot, man dies. In that, what is the cause of death? Cause of death is due to hemorrhagic shock only. Profuse blood would have been there. Man dies of that. Now, when the person is shot with a pistol and he dies, witness comes and says that he was shot not by a pistol but by some other weapon like 202, 802, that double barrel gun. There are two things you know very well. Some weapons will shoot the bullet. It will be a single one, pointed one, it will go and hit the body. Correct? There are other kinds of weapons which will spread only pellets, small particles, iron particles.
So 12 bore and
pellets.
303.
303, correct. Yes. Correct. They will fire only these pellets. Pellets will go in like a circular, in a circle, making a circular round like this. It will go. It will go. You see, a circular means it will go like this. So So when it hits a man, you will find that there are lot of pellet injuries on the body. Now, therefore, whether if a bullet is shot, it will hit, there will be an injury. That injury is known as entry wound. Then it will pierce and comes out through the other way. This is known as exit wound. There are two wounds. Single shot is made. There is entry wound, but there is no exit wound at all. What has happened to the bullet, which is a metallic piece which has gone into the body? It must remain in the body. But in many cases, doctors say that nothing was found in the body. Nothing was found. This results in a doubt in the case of the prosecution, whether it was really a bullet injury or it was caused by some other weapon, like this, like a knife or some other sharp-edged pointed weapon. There is a doubt. Therefore, in the forensic field, now what is insisted upon is that the entire body should be X-rayed. In the X-ray, it should be found as to how many pellets are lodged in the body and whether bullet is there anywhere inside the body. So the X-ray report is to be submitted along with the post-mortem certificate as and when there is a firearm injury. This is the latest trend. But this facility is not available in any Mofussil hospitals. In those cases, the body is to be shifted to the district headquarters where X-ray is to be taken. Then only they can give opinion. Otherwise, this problem, as I just now explained to you, will arise. This is regarding ballistic firearm injuries. Doctor will say from the firearm injury, what the doctor can also give opinion of the distance from where the person would have been shot. Distance means he cannot say whether it is 20 feet, 21 feet, 22 feet like that. He can only say whether it was from a close range or from a distance, considerable distance. If it is from a close range, a person is shot, what will happen? The bullet or pellets will go with the heat that is generated when it is burst in the gun or in the pistol. They will go with heat. It passes through the air. It will get cooled. When it hits the body, if it retains the heat, then you will find the stinging area. Around the injuries, you will find that blackening of the injury. Just surrounding the injury, blackening you will find. From that you can give opinion that he was shot from the close range. If a person is shot from a long range, what will happen? See, the speed will get reduced, number one. Number two, it passes through the air. Therefore, the temperature of the bullet or pellet, the object will get reduced, and as a result, you won't find this blackening here. From this also, the distance, approximate distance from where the person would have been shot, depending upon the nature of the weapon and all that, this can also be assessed. This is another way, so far as firearm injuries are concerned. The last one is toxicology. The poison. What is the poison? Out of which the man dies. So the blood test can be conducted from the body, spleen, liver, all parts are taken. They are subject to the test, and from that it can be found as to whether this particular poison was found there or not. Stomach, spleen, kidney, liver. I'm sorry, kidney is not there, liver. Pieces of these organs are taken and they are sent for chemical examination. In the examination, it can be easily found out as to what was the poison found. One more question may arise. There may be poison in the body, but question is whether death was due to that poison or due to some other cause. That also comes. It is again for the doctor to say whether death was due to poison alone or due to some other cause. Suppose after administering poison, a person is stabbed, man dies. Or can he say that death was due to both poisoning as well as due to stab injury? No, he cannot say. Because so far as stab injury is concerned, there is profuse blood, there is hemorrhage, shock is created immediately, man who died. So far as poison is concerned, it will take considerable time for the poison to get absorbed into the blood and then to kill the system. Okay, it will take some time. So in that case, doctor has to give opinion death was due to this. Poison was also found. That is the opinion he will give. Now, with all these things, because time is up, I will take only 2 minutes. Now, what is the use of this medical opinion in courts? I had a better experience once, saying that medical opinion corroborates the FIR. I never expected this. FIR is nothing but a formal statement which can never be used as substantive evidence. Postmortem opinion is in respect of cause of death. It doesn't connect the person concerned. It only says that there were injuries. Because of this injury, he died. That is all is the opinion. The doctor cannot say that who stabbed. Who stabbed is the job of the court to decide. How the court decides? From out of the various evidences, ocular evidence or some other evidence, circumstantial evidence, it is deduced that these stab injuries were made by this person. Then opinion comes as required under section 210. Opinion from the medical opinion, court holds that it is homicide. Then court goes on to the next question as to whether this homicide is murder or not. That is why. Therefore, the medical evidence in respect of cause of death is concerned, it confines only to the objective decision as to whether death was caused due to these injuries or what was the cause for the death, we put it otherwise. It doesn't connect the accused at all. Accused is connected to these injuries by eyewitnesses or by other circumstantial evidence. This distinction we should know. Medical evidence, see, normally we say medical evidence also corroborates. What does it corroborate? What does it corroborate? Medical evidence is an independent evidence. It serves a particular field, particular purpose. It says, yes, there is death. Doctor says, why death? It is because of this cause. That is all. Who is responsible for this cause? That is not the job of the doctor. That is the job of someone else. Therefore, the corroboration of medical evidence is something different. Therefore, this kind of approach cannot be used. So, therefore, my dear friends, sorry I am not able to cover most of the...
We can continue part 2, sir. We can continue part 2.
Yes. So far as fingerprint science is concerned, that is also very important. That is common both for civil cases as well as criminal cases. That will take another 45 minutes for me to explain as to what are the ridge characteristics, how they are compared, how many minimum similarities are to be there, and how we as lawyers can turn ourselves as experts by using magnifying glass and all that. All these things, no time today. I will say, I think the subject is something new to all of us. I hope that I have said something useful for you today and for your day-to-day practice. I thank our Mr. Seshagiri Rao, our friend, and all our friends for your patient hearing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Very nicely explained such a important topic and day-to-day life it's particularly in criminal matters, murder and etc. medical this thing. We are highly grateful to you, sir, and you have taken a lot of valuable time. Now I request Rahul Agarwal give a vote of thanks. Please, Rahul.
Firstly, I thank G.Seshagiri sir for giving me this opportunity.
Finish. Then you can.
Sir,
Finish because we seem to.
as you said, this is a very special area of law which we all are not aware of very deeply. Today you dealt with forensic medicines. Apart from it, you informed us that it consists of forensic medicines, fingerprint examination and opinion, and then handwriting examination and opinion, DNA opinion, age determination, time determination. It's a long subject, as we all are aware of, and today we are able to cover forensic medicines. You have, sir, very beautifully you explained the forensic medicines. You informed us about the skeletal system, organs of the body, human anatomy, the nervous system, the respiratory system, the circulatory system, and sir, you even informed us that what the doctor should do, like when a patient come before him, he has to first note the history, what in his words, what has happened with him, then he has to write his findings, and then he has to give his opinion, which is then used as section 39 of the BSA. And then you have also informed us that at the time when the magistrate is ensuring to write a declaration, he should ensure that the person in the capacity to give he should have in a mental capacity to give his statement. Then at the post-mortem stage, the doctor can give us opinion of cause of death, the reasons of cause of death, the time of death can be accessed through various factors, the ballistic expert, the toxicology, he can help in out. And very beautifully you explained that how time of death can be determined, like at the very initial stage we said a somatic death, then cellular death occurred. So by that we can see at 3 to 4 years cellular death happened, then discoloration of the skin appears, then regress mortis we see, and if it is put in water, then it can be delayed. So by these ways one could determine the time and everything. So very beautifully explained, sir. Thank you all, thank you from all of us, sir. Really grateful, and we'll love to hear the other points as well. Grateful.
Put it out.